Let's get this thing going. Pump those likes up. Let's pump those views up. Let's pump it up. So as you guys know, if you watched our last video, if you stay on top of the streams, if you are actively following my stuff, you know that we were shorting up here. I ended up shorting Ethereum. Around 1975 is when I posted the trade idea in Telegram. I got some fills before that. Obviously, fill before you shill, always. But it moved quite aggressively down, closed all of that. Very nice trade while I was away. Made me not feel bad about not being on screen because I shorted very close to the top. But we were bear biased on both Bitcoin and Ethereum. If you guys remember, we had our H12 bearish shift in market structure. So I was looking to short a lower high. That's always the plan. When the range is bearish, I'm looking to short a lower high in the premium, which means above 50% of the range. So if this is 50%, this is all in the premium. You're now looking for a reason to get short up here. Simple as that. And I know a lot of you guys got into these trades because you're posting in the wins channel. I love that fucking channel. I love going in there every few days and seeing all the wins you guys are having. A lot of you guys are trading the stuff I'm sharing on pairs I don't even talk about. You're trading on Forex pairs. You're trading gold. You're trading silver. You're trading the S&P 500. You're obviously trading crypto and altcoins as well. It's amazing. That's my number one goal since I decided to kind of get active on YouTube and things like that, is to help people learn to trade, not just, be reliant on me or someone else to copy, but actually make your own decisions, take your own trades based on your own analysis, right? Because I always talk about this. It's only going to really click for you when it's in your own charts. I can post all the shit all day long. Until it's in your charts, you're not going to really know if you're figuring it out or not. So this is a perfect segue into the sponsor of these streams. So I see a lot of you guys are trading on Prime. A lot of you guys are trading Euro USD and all sorts of Forex pairs and things like that on Prime. You can do so with crypto, no KYC required. If you want to help me out, you want to support these streams, you want to support me, the most direct way to do that right now is to sign up on my link in the description of this video, input code MAIN50 in the promo code section, throw some money in there and start trading. That's the best way to support me. I get a kickback for that. That's the money I use to pay for streaming equipment, new cameras, green screens, which I was too lazy to set up, the editor, who everyone loves and who's so important to this channel, making those shorts, those Instagram videos, YouTube shorts, the clicks, the jokes, outros, the condensed streams. Those are all for the editor. I pay him a lot of money because he does such a good job. So if you want to support me, you want to support the editor, that's the best way to do it. Now that we've broken down on Bitcoin, right? We had the short opportunity here. We've now made another down leg. So what am I looking at now? I'm now looking at a fresh H12 range, right? And I posted about this as this low was forming. I said, we are waiting for a swing low to form, right? I want to see a swing low form here. Then we have our range. And then what am I doing? Price comes in, makes the high, makes the low. I'm now waiting for a move up into the mid-range and above, and looking to potentially short another lower high. Because I personally think that we trade into this gray weekly order block. I would like to see us trade deep within this weekly range into here for a potential higher low and for potentially, another move up at higher prices. That's kind of what I'm hoping for. Obviously, it does not have to happen. So when I posted this, right, you can go on Telegram. It's all in there, time stamped. I posted when this low was forming. I posted this SFP and I drew a squiggly line where? Right up to here. What is this gray area? This is the 12-hour order block that took us below all of these lows, broke market structure. So this is the area that I'm looking to potentially short. Just like here, this was the 12-hour order block that caused the move down to take out the lows, break market structure. We're looking to short a retest. Exact same thing over and over and over again. Now, I'm not just blindly shorting this 12-hour zone. You can. If you want to short here, you absolutely can short here. Stop either above the OB or above the market structure high. But as you guys know, I like to get in with some form of confirmation. And I like to find that confirmation on the lower time frame. So generally, what am I looking for? The low time frame trend to shift in line with the high time frame trend, right? My entire strategy is based on that principle. If we are in a downtrend on the 12-hour, okay? Lower highs and lower lows. And I'm looking to short for the next leg down, which I think goes to here. I'm waiting for price to retrace into an area of interest based on the 12-hour range, like an order block or a fair value gap or a breaker, right? And then I'm looking for the low time frame to give me a sell signal to get involved and help me define my risk tightly and to just give me a clue that my thesis is correct. Because if my idea is correct that this 12 hour is going to make another leg down, the H1 is going to switch into a downtrend before this makes another low here. So the H12 is in a downtrend, and well, guess what this is? This is an uptrend on the H1. But I need that uptrend to flip into a downtrend. Now we're back in sync with that high time frame. Bob's your uncle. It's the entire basis of what I do. So that's all we're looking for here. We're waiting on the H1 to see. We got an SFP here. Are we going to get a self-fractal? You could argue we have one already forming right here. Or are we going to maybe run this high or this high? So just because we've come up into this order block here, it does not necessarily mean that it has to make a new low here. Like if you look here, we came up into the order block, sold off, came right back into it, and then made the new low. But we can dick around in here for a while, just like this did. You had 1, 2, 3 taps of the zone. We can also run this range high and fail and get back in and go down. We can roll over from here. I ideally would like to see an SFP of this high, okay? So yeah, we have the 1 hour SFP, but what I would like even more is like an H12 SFP. So maybe this next 12 hour candle, which closes in 11 hours from now, right? This would confirm, if it closes how it is, this would confirm a swing high. I would like to see maybe a run above there and then a close below. That would be a higher confidence trade. Now you can take the trade based on the hourly alone. You do not need the 12 hours confluence, but I prefer to have the 12 hours confluence as opposed to just entering based on the H1. This is a little bit of a tricky area, okay? Because yeah, we're finding some resistance here, but the dollar's, selling off a little bit. Stocks are kind of coiling around those, the key level there. So it's a bit of a tricky zone. The other thing to consider as well is we had a weekly SFP here. We had a weekly SFP here on Bitcoin. Like, is this just this? I've seen about 10,000 variations of this chart on Twitter, and I posted one myself. Is this just a deviation and we're gonna rip again, right? Run the lows of the consolidation, run out all the lows, reclaim, fucking send it, cuz. I think that this move had a whole lot more momentum and a whole lot more spot buying pressure than this move does. So I don't think that it's the same. I think where the moves happened also matter, right? Here, we were breaking through, this range high. Here, we're into the first significant level of weekly resistance, right? So we had this range high here. We had a big range reclaim, a little bit of a pullback off the range high, bang. This is key resistance here. So I don't know if the result will be the same, and we're just going to see this be it. That was the buying opportunity, and we're going to make a new high. We could. So that's why I said, in my tweet and in my posts on Discord, I can't discount this as a possibility. It is a possibility, right? But I don't think that the context is the same. And I think that contexts matter more than patterns. A little bit of a tricky spot. Absolutely. We have this weekly SFP, which I have to respect. And that's why it's so convenient. If I go back to my old chart here, that the levels I'm working with just happen to be the exact same, right? So if I delete all these levels, I'm going to add back this SFP level. Okay. So all the levels I have here on the weekly, this is your weekly bearish order block. Here's a weekly breaker. So this is the weekly SFP level. Well, what is this? This is a 12-hour bearish order block. But if we flip this, it becomes a 12-hour breaker. This was a bullish order block here. Once it flipped and sold through, guess what? Now it's a bearish breaker. Sell off. This is a bullish order block. Failed, becomes a bearish breaker, right? That's what a breaker is. It's the same level, okay? So the same level that I have as the area where we could reject also happens to be the area where if we start closing above here, I think the likelihood of us making a new high is much higher. And that's the exact same premise as what I was talking about earlier, right? If the 12-hour is able to put in some bullish market structure here, flip this, make a new high above here, well, guess what? Then I think that weekly uptrend that we are in, because the weekly is still in an uptrend, has a chance for continuation because the 12-hour would have went from downtrend to uptrend. And before the weekly makes a higher high, the 12-hour is going to get bullish. Same idea here. It's the same level. So this is the level that caused the low. It's a bearish order block. If we get above it, it becomes a bullish breaker. So that's my bias area right around this 27,500 to 27,800. If we get through here, I think I would start hunting for longs. The only thing that would make me get bearish again is if we were to sweep this high and close back below. So we get above here, but then we SFP this high, I'm looking for shorts again. Otherwise, if we get above here, I'm bull biased for actually last month's high. So if you take last month's range here, this would be April's high and low, right? We've taken out April's low. So if we're able to get, like, look how clean that range looks. Doesn't this kind of just look like a deviation below April's low? So to me, if we're able to get above here, I think there's a good chance that we go and make a new high. Definitely clear out these highs, but then potentially as high as this high here. Sorry the lighting is fucked. Like, it is summer now and the sun beams directly into my office, basically from 4 o'clock to like 9 or 10 p.m. The sun goes down. I'm in the north, baby, king of the north. So the sun goes down quite late up here. Like peak summer, like in June, July, it'll be bright out until 10. Sometimes even a little later. And it is hot as shit. And I'm sitting inside with a hoodie on because I got the shivers. It is whack. Speaking of hoodies, check out the Kanpai Panda merch. I got a bunch of stuff from ice bags. I got t-shirts, hoodies, like a rain jacket. It's fucking sick. I need a hat, but I love it. It's great fit. I'm like 6'2". I'm kind of thick right now. So I'm about 205 right now, but 6'2", and this is a large, I believe. I could probably rock an XL, but large XL, I think you're good around that size. But what I'm going to be doing, I've got a link for you guys for Kanpai merch. So if you guys want to buy some Kanpai Panda merch, I will add the link to the description of this video. You get like a little discount. It's nothing crazy, maybe like 5-10%. I'm still working that out, but I'll post the link on Twitter and in the description of this video. Yeah, if you want to buy some Kanpai Panda merch and you use my code, you'll get a little bit of money off. Okay, so hopefully my plan for Bitcoin is super duper fucking clear. I would argue that you could have sold already on the H1. You know, you could sell this retest right here, stop above there. This is absolutely a takeable trade. I personally am not interested in shorting this here, right? Like my target would be well into this zone, but even to this low, the risk reward is good, right? Just from here. But I want to see a little bit more PA develop. Maybe another run of this high, maybe a run of this high. Ultimately, I do think we trade down into here though. So that's my bias. What would change my bias? Break and hold above here, and then obviously close through here. No SFP. I'm now targeting 30 and then 32. Probably, right? An extension above this high. And if you look on the weekly here, you have a fair value gap here on Bitcoin right here, and you have a key swing high right here at 32. So if we are bullish and this is the low and we're going to make new highs, this becomes my draw on liquidity. This fair value gap, at the very least, this high. What does that mean? It means I don't care if I'm not long from here. Let's say you get long from right here. You long this wick because you're a giga chad. Well, from the low to the next obvious level of liquidity for me is 26%. Let's say I don't get long until we make a higher high above here. We break above, it pulls back a little, and let's say I long, you know, somewhere around here. Still 16% move. That is plenty. If the whole move is 26% and I can catch 16% of it, which is over half of the move, you know, 2/3 of the move, that's plenty. I always say this, it's about catching the meat of the move. You do not need to bottom ticket or top ticket. You can get the bulk of it. If it's going to 32K, I don't care if I longed 28K versus 26,800. I do not care. If you care, by all means, go ahead, try bottom ticket. I hope that you do. But how I trade, I like high probability moves, and I'm just aiming to catch the bulk of the move. I'm not really concerned with catching the entire thing. That's the plan on Bitcoin. I think it's pretty straightforward. We're watching here. My bias is still to the downside. I want to see a little bit more PA develop. This is a key zone, and this is a key high. You have plans for shorts, you have plans for longs. The rest is up to you. If we close a 12-hour candle through here, you better be looking to long a retest, and you don't only close that long if we SFP this, right? So I'm short biased right now. Maybe we get another run of the high. Otherwise, through here, I'm long biased, and the only thing that would change that long bias is an SFP of this high. Then I would get back to shorts. So let's look at Ethereum. To me, the price action on Ethereum is very similar to the price action on Bitcoin right now. We shorted Ethereum up here, okay? It was a failure of this high, right? We traded above this high. I was watching it from my phone. I was in Mexico. I saw us trade above it. Then I saw us SFP and break down, right? So we had the SFP and the break in market structure after failing at a key level. Here's your 12-hour order block right here, or 12-hour fair value gap on Ethereum, excuse me. So this area is the fair value gap from here to here, down only price action. We traded up into the fair value gap, put in an SFP, and then once we started closing below this high, I started adding. Stop above here, the invalidation was super clear, and the target was a new low below here. And I closed into this smooth. So I'm very happy with how that trade turned out. Super clean. And I think that Ethereum is setting up very similarly to Bitcoin here. Now, technically on Ethereum, we have this bullish order block here, right? So we did make a new high. We have a bullish order block on the weekly. We also have a weekly SFP here. So there is potential for us to go up from here. This could be where the low forms. Same as on Bitcoin, right? The key level here that we're rejecting from right now happens to be the same order block that I'm looking at on Bitcoin, also is effectively a potential breaker. So just like on Bitcoin, if we get above here, then I would be long biased looking for this high and then a new high above here. But until then, I'm looking for potentially another leg lower, and Ethereum has the same breaker on Bitcoin right here. And we've already tagged it here, but I think we could trade lower into this zone while still maintaining this weekly uptrending structure. So that's all I'm looking for right now. It's the exact same chart basically when you zoom in here. So we'll get all my old lines back here. We have our H12 high to a low. We have our key level here. Get above here, I would be bull bias. Unless we just sweep this high, then I would look for shorts again. Otherwise, I think this is potentially where the lower high forms, and I'm looking for another leg down. Exact same plan. SFP'd the high within that area. We're getting that sell-off now. Too early to tell for sure, but yeah, we're gonna see sooner than later here, if this move is gonna happen. Starting to sell off. Is this gonna accelerate downwards? I don't know yet. We could very well still find a reason to get bullish in here if price does something, right? So we're coming into some potential support here, but maybe we sweep below and then you can look to long. But for now, that's the plan, right? More interested above here for longs. And then ultimately above here, because again, I think the upside is super high, new highs, last month's high. So if I don't long here, but I long up here, I'm not concerned if I miss part of the move when the upside is, potentially massive. Can throw on Monday's range here. What did I just talk about? A sweep of this low, that's Monday's low. Same with Bitcoin or Ethereum here. Sweep of this low, potentially Monday's low. So that's absolutely an option. If we sweep Monday's low, reclaim, that's a long I will take most of the time. Sweep Monday's low, reclaim, it's a long I will take most of the time. Lots of potential setups here being discussed. One of them's already in play, the short on Bitcoin. See how that turns out. I actually screenshotted these earlier, but those are the two trades, and you can see this one already well into profit. This one would have gotten triggered right as we had that retest here. So that would have been the second setup, and it's moving. So we'll see if that ends up playing out. If you shorted this, I definitely think you could probably take some off already. But down below here, Monday's low, definitely TP some more, especially if it's a sweep. Yeah, Ethereum, Bitcoin, very similar. I would say watch Monday's low would be the next key area of interest potentially for a reversal. So there's a few types of entries that I like. Type number one is the actual sweep. Type number two is the confirmation entry. This would be the earlier trigger, less confirmation potentially, so riskier, but definitely better risk reward. The risk reward's not going to be as good, but you have more confirmation that your idea is probably correct, increasing your expectancy. Entry number one, entry number two. Let's look at Ethereum BTC. This chart's whack, fucking whack. Been going sideways for 2 fucking years. 2 years it's been in this range here. This is May of 2021 to now, May of 2023. It's been going sideways. So yes, there's been periods where Bitcoin has outperformed Ethereum and vice versa. And if you want to know why I shorted Ethereum as opposed to Bitcoin, is because when I thought the market was turning, Ethereum was coming up into resistance here on the BTC pair. So I thought it was going to outperform to the downside, and that ended up being the case. Ethereum pumped harder and then dumped harder. So where are we right now? If you look at the weekly here, you could argue that we had this breakdown, you had this break up, that like this is like our weekly range. So we're just starting to trade. We just eked below the 50%. Okay, we did put in a weekly sweep here, right? So there is potential argument that, hey, this is going to make a higher low somewhere around here. Go down to the 12 hour. This is a huge breaker. I don't like it. But the 12-hour respecting the zone. Up candle for a down move that took out the low, traded up, retested. Now it's pushing up again. So the H12 range is here. So we came into the discount of the H12 range within that breaker. There's some SFPs here. There's an SFP. This is kind of a breaker, basically, like this candle here. You have a low here, lower low, break above, retest, bang. You could argue that this chart is still bullish, technically, based on how I've just broken it down. But overall, sideways for a very long fucking time, but potentially starting to put in some signs of, hey, this might actually continue going up. We have a big weekly leg here. We've pulled back into it. Bulls want to see us make a higher high on the H12 here before getting horny about, a move up to here. But if we get above here and make a higher high, I'd expect the next leg to take us back to the 082 area, that weekly market structure level. Dollar, okay, we've had this one dialed in pretty good, right? We had this range here. So this is what I mean. You know how on Bitcoin, I was just saying, hey, I want to short the bearish order block that's, up here for a lower high. But if we sweep the high and break back in, I would still look to short. That's exactly what I'm talking about here. So we have a down leg and we traded all the way up through the order block, swept the high, got back inside, bearish, back down. So that's what I mean on Bitcoin as well. Same idea, looking like this. But ran the weekly high, took out the weekly low, big reaction from that weekly SFP here. Zoom into the H12. We had this bearish H12 range that we're still in from here to here. Came up into this level, we rejected several times, and now finally we've pushed through. So I've been saying this for I don't even know how long. It's been at least a month, right? Because I was talking about this zone way back in April. Like, if we get through this zone, I target 103. We get through 103, I'm targeting 105. And the logic is very simple. This is a bearish order block. Once we broke through it, now I believe it's a breaker. If we make a new high above here, I think we're going to trade up into this high time frame weekly breaker. Weekly area, right? This is that weekly high that got run. So this is that high time frame zone, and then potentially lower from here. I don't know, but that's what I'm looking for on the dollar. So I'm leaning technically bullish on the dollar towards 103, 105. I would like to see a retest of this zone and then maybe higher prices. If this is going to go lower, like if this is going to stall out here, or maybe it runs this high, then goes lower, even if it goes up here and then wants to go lower, the next area of interest for me on the downside is down here around 98, 99. If we get a retest of this zone, I would look to short Euro USD, GBP USD, gold, silver, longs on dollar CAD, dollar JPY, anything where the USD is part of the equation, I'd be looking for trade confluence on. Now, I posted this and a lot of people are like, okay, the dollar he thinks is going up, that's bad for Bitcoin. It doesn't have to be one-to-one inversely always. Look at right now, both Bitcoin and the dollar are down on the day. They've both gone down over the last few candles. It's not always like dollar up, Bitcoin down, dollar down, Bitcoin up. I do believe if we trade up to 105, that Bitcoin does trade lower, right? A big move, right? But in terms of like a tick by tick thing, we're not talking about a big movement here. This move, I think, would be confluent with a down move on Bitcoin though. And that supports my bias. I want to see Bitcoin trade to 23, 24, 25K. Then I want to see the dollar probably trade up. It does not have to happen every time, but the confluence and your expectancy is just better if dollar's at support and Bitcoin is at resistance. That's a higher probability trade than if dollar is going down and Bitcoin is at resistance, right? It's higher probability if the inverse correlation is there, but it's not always there. But if you look over the major highs and lows on Bitcoin, they're very much confluent with the major highs and lows on the dollar inversely. SPX, I drew out this zone a while ago. Like, this is the key area. We have 4,200, which is like basically the midpoint of this order block. Clearly a key level here, right? Support, as soon as it got below, resistance, briefly broke above, resistance, resistance, resistance. Very key level. Looking at this right now, it looks like the cheeky play would be to just peak above these highs and then go down. Deviate above the level and then go down. Because in my opinion, if we start closing and holding above 42, then I think we trade much higher. So this is where the bears have to smack it down in this gray box. Because if they do not smack it down here, I think we trade to this high and, maybe even up to these highs. Could be a new all-time high. I don't fucking know. But if the bears are going to smack it down, it comes from around here, in my opinion. Maybe we deviate above there and then down, but that's what I'm watching for on the That's all I got in me today, guys. I am doing not so great, unfortunately, but I need to rest up. I've got a big trip to Miami coming up. I'm gonna be at the Kanpai Panda event. I'm also gonna be working at the Karate Combat Fight. So if you're interested in coming to that, hit me up. If you live in the area, I might be able to get you some tickets. I'm gonna be streaming the entire fight on YouTube, and you'll have my live commentary. I'll bring on ice bags and whoever else is around. I know a bunch of the boys are gonna be down there, and we'll shoot the shit and we'll watch people punch and kick each other in the head. That sounds pretty fun. Yo guys, that's fucking annoying. I'm downloading the new Zelda at the same time that I'm streaming, so I think that might have been the issue. Come on, bro, do your job. I'm like, I'm just too strong. My neck is too thick. My arms are too large. I squat too heavy. It wasn't gonna happen. What the fuck does that mean? I am dying by the minute. Basically, I'm like Michael Jordan playing the flu game. It's flu main, basically the same thing. Sickness and germs and yuckiness. This guy says it means I might be gay.
Why are you gay?
What is the price? Is it above 30K? There is your answer.
You are gay.
So funny. This is an alpha whore here, just guzzling down the alpha. Here we go, getting a little dumperooski, a little dumple stiltskins, and my 1.5 ETH is now worth approximately 0.1. So I don't know what type of percentage drawdown that is, but I'm pretty sure it's a lot. Sounds like someone who's been paying attention. I won't take no guff from fucking Americans. You can't trade anywhere either, so fuck you. God damn it. Less booze, more LSD. Oh God. I had my LSD phase. I had a summer where I did acid like so much. It's amazing I didn't fry my brain. Was it worth it? Sounds like a very smart guy. Fuck Canada sometimes. Hey, daily trend line. I'm not reading after trend line, bro. Come on. Horizontal gang. How do I do an H? Is that an H? Oh yeah. Horizontal gang. We're looking at the same thing, but you had to use lame trend lines to say what I say with the horizontal. I've already forgotten how to do it. Horizontal gang. Gang, gang, gang. Feeling like John Moran about to pull out a gun on the IG Live. What an idiot. Nobody doing it like me. I promise you. Precise.